holds for us, and that the condition for contraception to work is predictability, is a certain level of income, predictable income, not a high level, but that condition has to be met before it works.
So what is the question?
No, it was more that I missed it. I missed it completely in both you. Yeah.
Okay, so that is the point you raised, and you'd like to answer to that point. Yes, number 2.
My name is Jeroen van Ginneken. I work at Netherlands Interdisciplinary Demographic Institute and at the School of Public Health at the University of Pretoria in South Africa. I would like to ask a question to Tim Dyson, and it deals with his short summary of the impact of the demographic transition on urbanization. And especially then on the fact that you feel that family planning was apparently has not often been seen as a possibility for lowering urban growth. But I ask you to expand on this, because it is clear that in virtually all developing countries, the family planning services are better organized and better quality in urban than in rural areas. So it is one of the ways in which indeed the situation is reached in which fertility is lower in urban than in rural areas. So my question is, I'm a bit surprised about that statement, and appreciate if you can expand on this.
Thank you very much. Number 3.
My name is Deepak Singh. I come from India, and I'm doing my master's from ISS. And my question is to Tim. And I would like to know that you said that modern economic growth can reduce the mortality rate. And again, you gave an example from North America, which talks about 2.5 billion tons of carbon emissions. The modern economic growth, I feel that this is a quite related terms. The carbon emission in North America is a byproduct of modern economic growth. And maybe population growth in Southeast Asia is just 2 billion, but it's still contributing 931 million tons carbon in the whole world. Whereas North America, over 100 million population, is contributing to 2.5 billion, which is a kind of creating crisis for whole population of the world. And in that term, are we just concentrating on population growth or population reduction, or modern economic growth as well? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deepak. Number 4.
Arend Meerburg. I worked for the Foreign Ministry of the Netherlands some time ago. I'm now pensionado. I have a question to the second speaker, particularly his last point. He's a little bit optimistic in a certain way that we all grow together and there will be a balance between birth and death and so on. That's fine. But the point is that we now have achieved that in the Western countries, a much lower level, for no growth anymore of the population, of even negative, while the other parts of the world is still growing extremely fast, the population. Now, what tensions is going to give that between the two? I think quite a lot. Maybe you can say a little bit more about it.
Number 5.
My name is Annette Koch. I'm a patent examiner, and I'm not at all an expert in your field. But what is striking me is that the issue of women's education and women's right to self-determination of their body and their health is not at all addressed in your speeches. And I think that that is something which is very crucial, in fact, to population growth and to its effect on the demographic change you were talking about. And my question is, how would you possibly affect a raise of the level of women's education also, for instance, in rural areas of developing countries where it is still dramatically low? How would you like to bring this about?
Thank you very much. Number 6.
I'm Quintijn Hogeboom. I'm a member of the Club van 10 Miljoen here in the Netherlands, and also a member of the political party GroenLinks. I'm very much astonished about the taboo in politics in the Netherlands and other Western countries about not talking the population. So that's the reason that the talks are here this way is very welcome to me. And I think the need to go down in population is very urgent political, but well, that's the second question I would have liked to pose. The question I want to pose to Michel Garen is, in the last list of advantages of continuing population growth and the advantages of population shrink, there is one advantage, that's military power. I can understand that one. The second one you pose is economic power, but my always thinking about this is economic power, is that economic power of a complete country, or do we have to measure things like that as per capita? You have in the second list the per capita income will increase. I think when we make measurements and considerations like this, we always have, for military power, maybe not, but for all the other things, especially economic power, we have to measure per capita wealth and not total economic power of a country. Could you please answer on that question, if that argument still persists or should be scrapped?
Very good, thank you. Tim Dyson.
Okay. Well, a lot of points. Not all, I won't address all of them, but I'll try and address most of them. The first point seemed to relate to the extent to which a minimum level of per capita income is required for fertility decline in a population. I really don't know about a minimum level of per capita income, because obviously per capita incomes can be very low. But my response in general to the point that I think you're raising is that very poor populations can reduce their fertility. So if you go back 30 or 40 years, the sort of paradigm that prevailed was that people thought that you had to increase per capita incomes in order to reduce birth rates, in order to reduce fertility. And what experience has shown is that that is not necessarily the case, and poor populations can reduce their fertility. If you look at southern India, for example, it's a poor population. They have experienced fertility decline, and levels of total fertility are very low. So our old paradigm, the old demographic paradigm that saw rises in living standards, important though they are, of course we're all in favor of them, but nevertheless that saw rises in per capita incomes as being necessary to achieve fertility decline, has generally been proved